So you're a killer?
Sir, yes, sir!
Let me see your war face.
Sir!
You got a war face? Ah! That's a war face. Now let me see your war face.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to Basic Billiards. I am your host, SithLordFelix, and here we are with the always awesome, amazing Sensei Bryan from FX Billiards. How are you, Bryan?
I'm doing good.
Awesome,
Good to see you.
awesome. Likewise, always good to see you. Now, for those who are joining us for the first time, here we just review. Basically, we're chronicling my progress from being a mid-tier pool player to be up there within the higher ranks. It's a long, hard road out of hell, but we are definitely trudging along. All right, all right, so what's going on, Bryan?
Nothing. I'm just glad to be back and see you relatively healthy.
Yeah, thank
And
God.
yeah.
Yeah, I had the sniffles last week, so yeah, it would have been too weird on the mic. But on the bright side, I got creamed on my APA match for the new season. My first game
Oh,
of the new
really?
season, 3-zip. Yeah,
Did the
and
so
go on.
remind me what happened with the didn't you guys go to the Tri Cup?
We're still in the Tri Cup. We just haven't played that game yet. That game isn't coming till September, so I'm still practicing for that. But they already started the new season for.
I'm sorry, we broke up for about 15 seconds. So
Oh,
last
okay.
thing I heard was me asking you about the Tri Cup.
All right. So, yeah, the Tri Cup is still gonna happen in September. That's when the date's set
Okay.
for it.
Okay, so the
But
new
the new
season started
season,
and the Tri Cup continues. Okay, I got you.
which
All right.
I still have to get used to. That's so weird to me. But yeah, we started the new season. I'm still a 3. They put me up against a 4, uh, and I should have won. I should have won. I ran to the 8 and I scratched on the 8. That was my first one, and all I had to do was put a little bit of draw. We had the 8 ball in the middle of the table, the cue ball in the other end on the middle. Classic scratch shot. And for some reason, I did not apply draw to it, and I scratched. And then my second loss was almost as bad. I ran to the 8 again, but on the key ball, I shot it incorrectly, and I ended up setting it up where my opponent's stripe was in between the cue ball and the 8 ball. So I had to do some crazy bank shot, failed miserably, and then
Okay.
the guy ran out.
Were you on the same key ball that you had anticipated you'd be on at the beginning of the rack, or did it change?
Yes, yes, and I'll tell you what. With even by practice, there's like I have been able to run 6, 7, 8 a lot more consistently. Not as consistent as I'd like, but
Hmm.
definitely more consistently. And even during
Okay,
practice, I was planning. Even my coach was like, "Wow, okay, you're doing you're doing what you're saying." I was like, "Yeah, it's happening."
good, good.
But it was my choice of shot on the key ball. I think I wanted one thing, and I wish I could show you. Of course, I didn't record it, but basically,
That's okay.
I added a follow shot. Uh,
Right.
I added a follow shot where I probably should have done a draw.
Okay.
You know,
Um, the reason I ask is because if you're playing consistent key ball, and your key ball will change. I mean, we all get out of line at some point, and we might need to change our key ball. Um, But if you're playing it more and more, then you start looking for what we call a K2. These are all straight pool terms that have been borrowed by 8 ball.
sure.
But the key ball in straight pool is the ball you're going to shoot right before you leave yourself your break ball and straight pool. But um, so you have a key ball, but then when you get good at that, then you have a K2. Your K2 is the ball that you're leaving to get yourself on your key ball. So, and in a perfect world, you create a little triangle. So your key ball is at one spot, your K2 is at another spot, and your 8-ball is at the next. And what happens is you're able to shoot your K2, have be connected to your key ball, which is going to be connected to your 8-ball. It doesn't always work out, obviously, that clear cut, but that's the goal, is to have this little triangle or something that resembles one. So the opposite of that would be to have your K2, your last 3 balls in a straight line. Okay. That's bad stuff. Now you're doing a drill. You're coming back on one, and then so yeah, if you can get that little triangle, but start thinking about your K2. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make.
No, fair enough. Yeah.
Think about your K2 as well.
And I've been noticing, like, all right, so maybe a lot of mid-tier players that like me can relate to this, but the way a lot of games go is you'll run 3, 4, 5 balls on your turn, you leave 2 or 3 on the table, right? And then you're chasing the rest of the 3 for those 3 for like the rest of the game, right?
Yeah.
One thing that I'm starting to notice is when I'm on my last 3, I can clear. I'm out. Like, if you leave me 3 on the table, you better have me hidden. You better, you better have some crazy cluster there for me. Other than that, I have a pretty good chance of running out, if I get back on.
Yeah, that's why we do those drills with just 3 balls and 4 balls on the table. I'm always telling students, throw out 4 balls and we're going to shoot them off. 3 balls in the 8-ball, we'll shoot them off, because I'm sure I've said it before in one of my rants on your channel, but a lot of people can run 4 balls, and I mean a lot of people, APA 2s, 3s can run 4 balls in 8-ball because you get bailed out so often. I saw a video where there were 2 ladies, one was a 2, one was a 3, and one of them ran 5 balls and the other one I think ran either 5 or 6 balls. And I'm like, have you guys been sandbagging? It's just the long con I'm looking at. But yeah, sometimes they're just laid out for you. Even if you don't know anything about position, they're just
there.
They're just there. So yeah, it happens a lot. It's those last 3, that's the critical ones, that you because a lot of people, and the sad thing about 8-ball is players always think they're in the game. And I hope I'm not telling the same story over that I might have told another week, but I was playing with a student who, I mean, his chest was all pumped out because he always thought he was in the game. He's like, oh, I got down to 3 balls. I'm like, yeah, but I could have told you those 3 balls are going to be on the table at the end of the game. I used to do that to my cousins. I'm like, you're going to be scooping up that 2 ball and the 3 ball with the rack. And, just to show them you think you're in the game. And that happens a lot in 8-ball. Guys get down to 2 balls and they think they're in the game, but the higher ranked player realizes he's not getting to those 2 balls before I'm out. It's just they're in a position or a situation where he's not going to get to them. So yeah, which I guess is a good thing that people think they're in it, because we need we need customers.
Yeah, it's like poker. Like the one guy who's like, "Oh man,
yeah, exactly.
I had top pair. I can't believe you flopped the set."
Exactly. Yeah, right. And nobody bothers to tell him that top pair is not even an average winning hand. Like if you don't have trip 4s, you have less than a natural average hand in poker. So right. So yeah, it is a thing. I think it's interesting on one hand, it's scary on the other, but I think it's good for the game because everybody thinks they were in it. Wow, I got down to 2 balls. Yeah, they were going to be there anyway.
Yeah. So you know what? Let's actually stay with that for a second. Okay, so you have, when you're looking at that at the table, right? And you're like, those 2 balls are still going to be on the table, right?
Right.
Should I attack those balls first?
No, usually usually what happens is I know they're going to be on the table because they're going to be so insanely difficult to get to. And I usually know after the first couple shots that the player is taking. It's not so much their fault, but sometimes there's situations that Shane wasn't going to get out. They're just in that kind of a position. And, so I'll give you an example. Let's say you have two balls that are clustered on the short rail at one end of the table.
Right.
The 8 ball is at the other end, and you're working the end that has the 8 ball on it. Okay. Yeah. I already know that less than 1% of players on Earth are going to find a way to break up this cluster that is at the opposite end of the table with what's on the layout down here. You've got to do something extraordinary. Now, the difference in a pro match and an amateur match is the pro recognizes that cluster, and he's decided how he's going to play a safety using that cluster. The amateur player, he's going to run his other 5 balls off, maybe over the course of 2 or 3 innings, and then address this cluster that it's not his fault he didn't get to it early. He couldn't. There was no multi-rail shot or anything like that. So now he shoots. What does he do? He tries to make something off the cluster instead of playing, a solid safety of some type. So situations like that, I can just look at the table and tell you, those balls are going to be there at the end of the game. And it's more predictable when you're playing a good player. Now, if you're playing somebody that you're going to have a 5 or 6 inning game, over 6 innings, anything can happen. The whole table is going to look different if two lower ranked players are playing. But with higher ranked players, the balls don't move around a lot. You're not nudging balls that you don't want to nudge and things like that. So anyway, that's one example of how you can predict what's going to be on the table at the end. It just,
sometimes you can just see it. Yeah, you see a big cluster there, and then my coach will tell me, he's like, leave that cluster alone. And I'm like, shouldn't I try to do something with it? He goes, leave it alone. Because
major coaching mistake. Yeah, but
Ooh.
major coaching mistake. Because what he's saying is, I'm a genius and the other guy's an idiot. So the other guy is going to fix this for us. But the other guy is thinking, those idiots think that I'm going to fix this for them.
Right.
But I love that. Don't mess with that. Like the other guy doesn't know, and there are people that don't know, but generally you're playing somebody who's relatively evenly matched with you, certainly evenly matched with your coach, and they know not to mess with it as well. So that's one of the wackiest things. Leave that ball there. You're blocking his ball. Well, when would you like me to get it? When he's, when I'm racking? Because I can't just perpetually block the pocket. I have to shoot them all in. You do realize I have to shoot them all in order to get to shoot the 8-ball, right? But yeah, it blows my mind. I've seen guys put themselves in situations where they could not run out. It's impossible to run out now. Why? Because there's a ball they won't shoot because it's blocking their opponent's ball. Well, yeah, you got it. Yeah. And it's one of those, I have expressions for all of these because I tease my cousins so much because they're all, APA 3s and 4s after, playing pool for the last 40 years. That's where they landed. And yeah, I call it the, I was gonna. I always say, well, what were you going to do about that too? I was going to get to it. Yeah.
Right.
Now look at you. Now look, I keep the rack over there. Now look at you.
Now you can get it.
Yeah, you can go get it. In fact, why don't you just hold on to it while I shoot, and you'll already have it in your hand.
God, all right. So you gotta school my captain. I hope you're listening. He's not. Jerk.
Yeah. No, and I pick on the APA captains a lot, but in their defense, there's no training for captains. There's no vetting for captains. And I will personally tell you now, pool is my job. Teaching people to play pool is my job. But
Right.
I have been good at things and been a lousy coach. Okay.
Huh.
I'm a pretty good, well, I'm much older now, but I was a very good basketball player, but I was the worst coach ever, and I was a very good financial advisor. I'm sorry, did I lose you?
No, I'm here. I'm listening.
Yeah. No, I was a very good financial advisor for years, and then I got promoted to manager. And my first 6 months, I was a lousy manager. So, coaching and doing are two totally different things. That's why there's so many sixes and sevens that are giving bad. So that's one thing. There is no training for coaching, and so I try not to pick on them, but I hear a lot of bad advice coming from coaches, and some of them aren't as good as the people that they're coaching, which is always interesting because they're trying to give somebody information when that person, one of my students who went into APA as a 3, but became a 6 in probably about 6 weeks. Now, he didn't become a 6 because he got better. He became a 6 because he was a 6, but the algorithm just hadn't caught up with him yet. He was a new player. But it
Yeah.
was funny because his coach, who was like a 5, was coaching him what to do. And he's like, you know nothing about what's happening. Like it was very frustrating to him because he was, it's like you're coaching LeBron James, but you don't know who he is. He's just some guy that just walked, some goofy guy just walked on the court. And you're telling
Right.
him, no, you should be filling the lane over here. And he's like, so.
Meanwhile,
But
yeah, right.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
Woody
so
Harrelson from White Man Can't Jump.
right,
He's like,
exactly. So
sure, okay.
so that's what that's what it's like. So the coaches really do have a lot to deal with, but they need to recognize how much they don't know because it is mind-boggling. How much a lot of the coaches don't know, but they were just thrown into the role when they wanted to start a team or whatever the case. So anyway.
So quick disclaimer, I will just to say about my coach Tim. He is actually, well, he's a 7. He's really good, and he has coached me very successfully, like plenty
Good.
of times. In fact, like there were a couple of game-winning coach tips that he has given.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think in this situation when it's like don't address a cluster, don't do this, don't do that, it is kind of more like I don't know how comfortable he is with my skill level, like how I
That's
can execute.
that's the other thing. As a coach, you've seen so many mistakes, okay, that you don't want to throw someone into that. So you do get very conservative with other people's games.
Yeah,
So 2 coaching mistakes, expecting other people to do what you can do, or expecting that they can't do anything. And so yeah, a lot of coaches will get super conservative. The thing about 6s and 7s, though, particularly 7s, is it's very difficult to be a 7. It's very difficult to get to that mark if you haven't been coached by someone.
huh?
And the best coaches are the people who are well coached because basically what they're doing is reciting what their coaches has told them. So yeah, once you get to a 7, somebody at some point has taken you under their wing, whether you paid for it or not, and taught you stuff. So it's a lot easier to transfer that into coaching advice. So yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of 4s and 5s that are bar box heroes, and now they have to coach people, and it's not simple. It's not easy. I have a student that was a 7. His wife was a 3, I think, and he paid me to give her lessons. But he recognized he was not in a position to teach her. He was just a naturally good player, so he wanted me to teach her. Also, if you ever try to teach your wife something,
No, it ain't happening. You get so
no,
annoyed.
yeah, yeah, it's like, okay, I'm just going to let you set yourself on fire.
Yeah. Maybe let's keep these games separate. You pick up something else. you know, and I'll have my pool night with the boys, you know.
I I don't want to use up all the time with these side stories,
I don't
but
know. Come on, let's go.
my wife, and I'm going to show her this video because I want to embarrass her.
Nice, nice.
She has this move now. She's short. Okay, I'm 6'2", but she's 6'1" maybe. She's short, and she's a great cook, but she stores things over the stove. So she's got on the front burner and she's leaning over the stove. And I probably told her, I don't know, we've been together, we got married 22 years ago, 23 years ago. And I constantly telling her, you got to be careful, you're going to set yourself on fire. So one day I say to her, she's leaning over the stove, and I say, you got to be careful, you're going to set yourself on fire. And she says, how do you know I haven't? So apparently after 23 years of telling her don't lean over the stove like that, she's still doing it, and at some point actually did catch her clothes on fire.
Happened. Yeah.
And is still doing it. Okay. So yeah, try to teach your wife anything.
Oh, yeah. Good luck.
She may still catch herself on fire.
Yeah. Tell me how the couch feels.
Yeah. So anyway, all the ladies, you can send your hate mail.
That's right. Felix. Put it in the comment section directly to me.
Yeah.
All right. So of course I have a super long clip video, but I guess we'll get through as much as we can.
Well, yeah, let's get through as much as we can.
So what I have here, all right, you can see get us both back on there. Okay. These are drills, all right, for the most part. I took your advice and did the shoot in numerical order. Let me just hit play. Some of these aren't spectacular. Some of these are pretty bare bones. But yeah, I think I'm going to start doing this a lot more, especially in preparation for the 9-ball tournament that's coming up. This appears to be working wonders.
Mm-hmm. Just recommendation: use all solid balls, and they'll be easier for us to identify on screen.
Oh, understood. Okay.
Yeah, because like I have two here. I'm not sure what balls those are. I'm thinking that's the 10 and the other's the 15.
I think so too.
Yeah, but yeah, I always have students use all solids because they're easier on the screen. Good job. Not a bad pattern.
Next. I think eventually I move up to 5 balls, but
the only thing I would have done differently there is I might have. Did you have ball in hand?
Usually I do, yeah, in those situations. Okay.
Yeah, on that first shot, you might have got better position. I mean, you made shape on it, but you might have got better position with a follow shot. You just had more speed control. But that's a pretty decent pattern. That's a pretty good shot.
Yeah, not all of these are successful. But
okay, it's not going to be. And a note based on what you were saying, you've done 4 and then you went to 5. I remind people all the time, the jump from 4 to 5 is major. It's major. It's not one extra ball. It's 25% more balls. That's the way you have to think about it. You have 25% more times to be out of line, 25% more opportunities to miss, 25% more opportunities to have a cluster that you can't defeat. So it is a big jump from 4 balls to 5 balls. Just a heads up. Okay, yeah. The line drill.
The line drill. I'm sorry, it's not as straight as it should be, but
that's okay. Mine is never straight.
Now, do you try to go like one, then the next one, then the next one? Is that a thing?
That's the only way I consider it a success, but I'm at a different level. So okay. I'm always moving down each ball. So I'm not just shooting them in any order.
Yeah.
But the great thing about this is you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
So
good. Because I did not shoot them in order like that.
No, actually, the way I approach it is to shoot each ball in order as I go down the table. Yeah. And I try to stay on the same side of the table as long as I can. So
Yeah.
I might pull off 5 or 6 shots on the same, just short little draw shots on the same side. And then if my position breaks down, I'll allow myself to cross the line and then, shoot the next ball in another pocket. All right.
Nice.
But you should adapt it to your skill set. So the shot you just shot,
Yeah.
I try to shoot 5 or 6 or 7 of those on my way down the line.
Oh,
Because you could actually make the 5 here if you wanted to.
I didn't know if I was trying to avoid the rail. I didn't know if that was a thing. I was like, all right, let me try not to touch the rail.
Yeah, no, you can use the rail. You can
Okay.
use the rail.
For next time.
Another tip for getting through this is if you have a choice between shooting an end ball and a center ball, you want to shoot the end balls.
Understood.
So if you're on the 10 and you're on the 5, you shoot the 5 because they're more difficult to get to. So just like you're running an 8-ball rack, you would shoot the balls that are on the end, knowing that you can get to the center balls easier.
You know what the best part about this is, Bryan? I still can't do the semicircle drill.
Well,
Okay.
some of these are the semicircle shot.
Right.
I mean, if you think about it, the speed is semicircle drill speed.
The control, right, is definitely more finesse, and I impressed myself. Like I got this far. Like, okay.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
No, I think you're doing okay. The key here, see, you really should shoot that 5. Look at how the 5 puts you on, and you were avoiding the rails, so that's a whole different. Yeah, it's a whole different drill. But I think the key with trying to get through any drill is to treat them all like, they're the game-winning shot, because you don't want to get lazy. You don't want to get, and you're doing a good job of not pushing it, like not trying to rush through it. A lot of people, you give them a drill and they just want to finish the drill, by as quick as possible.
Yeah, no, I really tried. So, so far so good. Same side of the table.
Yeah, that's not
Still
bad.
haven't touched the rail. I think. Oh, I'm
and
pretty sure that brings down soon.
If you get to a point where you miss or it's impossible to get shape, you just take ball in hand. I mean, really, you don't have to force yourself to make a hero shot.
Yeah.
All right. Always remember why you're at the table. I'm not here to pass a test. I'm here to learn to shoot these shots. And
Yeah.
so if I do something crazy to get out, that didn't teach me anything.
I think here I come to terms with the fact that I am not. I'm going to have to use the rail.
Yeah, and that's fine, because it's important to be able to use the rail. So, yeah.
Yeah, now that I know that I can use the rail, I'll try again.
Yeah, it's I mean, there are top players that try to shoot every one of these shots without touching the rail and staying on the same side of the table.
And there, boom, I broke.
But they're the we're talking about 2% of the players on the planet, that are going to be able to pull that off. And they're not going to pull it off every time. They're going to pull it off at some point.
Pretty sure this is
This is pretty good, though.
Not bad for like my first day doing the drill.
Especially with the restrictions you put on yourself about trying to stay off the rails.
Yeah, once I finally, like the shot before, I crossed to the other side.
Yeah,
I was like, all right, I'll keep going, but I think here I messed it up. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh man!
What are you doing? Oh, all right. So this guy challenged me to a game while I was practicing, and he beat me barely, but I actually had like a really good run, but then I choked on an 8 as usual, and it turns out this dude's a 7 on another county, an APA 7.
Oh, okay.
And this is his 8-ball shot because, like, I left him that shot, by the way. So he's like, all right, let me just do this.
Yeah, the side pocket. I just gave a guy that shot. The other day.
Oh,
He was,
yeah.
yeah, that's an old school pool hall shot that everybody that's spent more than 20 hours, 40 hours or so in a pool hall in the last month knows it.
Yeah.
It's not obvious, but yeah, it comes up. So yeah, that was a good
yeah.
shot. Good shot.
All right, now here I am moving up to 5 balls.
Mhm. Well, you have three hangers.
Yeah, so does that really count? Hey, 5 is 5, Brian. It's 5, right? No.
Yeah, I came down and dunked on this guy, but of course the basket was,
Yeah, right.
only 7 feet high.
So there's a stepping stool there. That's not my problem. No, right? I can only play what's there. No, right?
Hey, trust me, there are people that would have screwed up this run out.
Yeah, that's the way I looked at it, because it's like it's all about getting shape and
Nice.
Yeah. And in your defense, you get credit for the easy runs because you're going to get some like this one that are just crazy difficult. Like, people don't realize how difficult this run is. You've got 2 balls on the short one, one on the short rail, one on the long rail at opposite ends of the table. This is not a layup.
And out of habit, I did not shoot the 8 ball. Like, my brain switched off.
Yeah.
Like, and kept the 8 for the last.
A lot of people do that. I have when I have guys run full racks and I tell them you can shoot any ball, they always want to leave the 8 for the last. I'm like, no, I'll shoot the 8 first if it's the shot that'll put me out.
Right.
But there is a psychological thing when you get 8 ball, drilled into you all the time.
Oh, don't. No.
Given the layout you had, that wasn't too bad. You actually used the right ball to get on that ball. That was a tough layout.
Well, I think this is I'm not sure if I'm just doing regular. Oh yeah, I think these are still in order because I have the 10 and then there's the 11 and then there's the 13.
And then the 8 last again.
And then the 8. Yeah, like an idiot. I don't know.
Well, you know what you should remember, I was talking about just using the solids.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea to throw, 3, 4 solids and the 9 ball out. So your brain is saying, hey, we're playing 9 ball. If you're going to shoot them in rotation,
This was my mistake right here. I wish I had better shape on that 13, so I would have had a beautiful shot inside there.
Yeah, that was
unnecessarily
a layup for the side, right? Not bad.
No, you sure? Look at that right there.
Oh.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
That's a good try.
You are one pathetic loser.
I thought it went in.
Yeah. No, any other day it would have. Oh, look at the general creeping in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, these are 6.
It looks like he's ready to draw on somebody.
Yeah. He had himself a little 3-ball run that I put up. Getting a lot harder for him to play these days.
Hey, I admire that guy. I hope to God I'm playing pool when I'm his age.
Same here.
First off, I'm a long shot to make it to his age, but if I make it to his age,
yeah, right. Yeah, but by that age, they'll have to dig me up, and then you know what I mean. At that point, use some sort of voodoo spell to get me to move.
Yeah.
That's out the way. All right. Damn, I actually did 6 here. I don't remember if I completed this one. I have a good shot at this 9-ball tourney, like better than last time.
Well, you know what? You're gonna have a head start on everybody, especially the people that don't play 9-ball, that are going to go into, playing 9-ball. maybe for the first time, or maybe only a couple times in their life, because they're not practicing shooting balls in rotation.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, people don't practice, period. And
This is regular. I think this is just regular 8-ball practice at this point.
okay. Oh,
Ooh.
don't bring that 8-ball around.
I know. What a shame. I always get mad at myself when I do stuff like that.
Is it makeable? Does it go on the side?
Is it? We're talking about me here.
Nice shot.
Thank you. Thank you. That cute dog should get me 30,000 views.
If you make it your thumbnail.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I should make it my thumbnail.
You should make it your thumbnail, yeah.
Then all the downvotes. There's no dog in this video. It's only 2 seconds.
There's the dog right there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. How many thumbnails have a hot girl in them that the girl's in the video for 5 seconds?
Right, exactly. Yeah. The intro.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, this is again regular practice beyond solids. And I just froze there like a glitch.
That's a tough rack.
Yeah. I didn't complete it, but I gave it a good college try. And it is in my head, like I gotta do something with it, you know?
Yeah, that might have been your opportunity there to drive into this. That's a good try. Yeah, if you're giving yourself a little bit different angle,
maybe a little more spin or something might have helped. Slower
well,
shot.
on the shot before, if you had given yourself more of an angle on that, and you just shot, I think it was the 1 ball. And here you could actually shoot a draw shot, and you're not going to clear everything up, but you can get his ball from in front of yours. That's what you did. Excellent.
Yeah. Now watch this miracle shot here. So close.
Hey, you came about as far as you could on that.
Yeah. And I am happy that you actually called the shot that I ended up taking.
Yeah, no, that was the right shot. Yep. The only thing you could have done better would have been if you had a chance to get to it earlier.
Yeah.
And that's why we break up. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I want to go back to it. Okay. All right. So, what is this the shot you were saying I should have used?
So there's a couple things happening here. If you let's go back a little bit. Okay, hold on. So I want to see how you got on the 7. How did you end up on the 7?
I think I shot the 2, which is right here.
Yeah, how did you get to the 2? It doesn't look like the 2. All right, let's run it.
Yeah, that's right. I don't remember. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
You did. You cut the 2 in. Okay. All right. So look at this. Look at this for example. If you played the 5 right now, okay, not that there's any problem with playing the 7. You play the 7. The 7 is so makeable. I might even leave it there as an insurance shot. But the same draw shot you shot with the 4 to hit that cluster.
Yeah.
You could actually go into the cluster right now and shake things up. Now, the downside is you don't know what you're going to end up with. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to be nudging everything around. You might not have a shot at all, but you're giving yourself a chance to win. Okay. Because scratching on the 3 is giving yourself a chance to lose.
Amen.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I cleared the table for the other guy pretty much.
Yeah. And the reason I would do it now is because if I play a draw shot off the 3, I mean off the 5 to get
Right.
into the cluster, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about making the 8. The 8 can't go because it's being blocked. All right.
Yeah.
I need to get lucky. There's no question. I need to get lucky for something spectacular to happen down there. But look at the outlets that I have. Okay. So I've got a ball right there on the short rail. I think it's the 4 that will get me out of trouble if I end up, all clustered up with these balls. But I'm shooting my best draw shot here on the 5 to go after the cluster. The other thing,
it stuns, right? It goes bing, and then it'll like spin all its way down here.
Yeah, it'll come down there. You don't even need any spin. If you took this angle with a good strong draw shot, you would at least move these balls around, and that's what the goal is. We don't know what's going to happen with them. Just shake them up a little bit. The other thing you could do, now let it run. I'll show you the other opportunity you had.
Understood.
A little bit more conservative. So you played the 7, and now when you play the 5, if you shot the 5 with more follow, so you had more of a back cut on the 1, then you would you'd be able to get over there. So this was your second opportunity to break them up. So yeah, if you followed just a little bit more, or even a lot more, either one is going to get you there.
I will tell you, I know this was, as you can tell, I was swinging for it. I was going for this cluster, the shot.
Now you definitely took a good shot at it. It's just you had such a bad situation. Now in a match, I probably call timeout here, and I tell you to just tag your 3 ball and pin the cue ball up against the 9 and the 15. I might shoot the 4 first, but you got a safety here. These balls are so clustered up.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't going to make it. So there's a lot of offense.
And now the 3 is makeable, like off of the, what is this here? The
9, the 15 probably.
15, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see if we can round it out.
There were things you could have done, but especially when you're just practicing by yourself, you're probably not playing that safety. But you could have played a safety there, and that would have gotten you.
There's the general.
The general in the house.
He didn't get to clear, but he said he got his 3 in a row. We'll do one more. I think you're on the clock at this point, right?
Yeah, I've got a couple minutes.
Okay, cool. Well, let's see if we can go out with a bang here. Give the general his due real quick.
So you can put the general on the thumbnail. I click on that. He's going to go left-handed. Here we go. Nice.
Yeah, he kind of gave us some business there. Unfortunately, like if he would have hit a little softer, he would have had a nice little shot there.
I know he would have probably would have been out.
Let me get to the good one. All right, this is front play. Getting too crazy with these combo shots. This one seems like a semicircle drill. What were we gonna say?
Yeah, short game stuff. I was just gonna say, people don't realize they got to be careful with these little short shots, because you get this, and so you still have to play position even though they're short shots. Okay, you avoided America's favorite scratch shot twice, and you're out. This is nice run.
Nice and quick too, right?
Yep.
Am I out? You
better be.
Better be.
Good follow through on that. So you paid attention. You paid attention on that. Good job.
Excellent. So yeah, as you can see on the screen, I get my lessons from FX Billiards, the great sensei Bryan, who you're seeing on the screen today. Is there anything you need to plug, sir?
Nope. We're all good. And it's good hanging out with you again. And you guys have a good week. Make sure you like, subscribe, and do all of that to this channel.
Please.
All right. Okay. If you need anything during the week, let me know. Good to see you a little healthier, and have a great day.
You got it, boss. You
All right.
guys heard him. Hit like, subscribe. God bless. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Take care.